Ciao.
Ciao.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. Good morning and welcome to Sanza, which he will consider his home for a couple of days. He has a lot of friends here and he has a bit of personal history here as well. So we're going to start off our walk going through the Porta Pungente, which is one of the city gates leading into the center of town, the old city gates. So he's going to concentrate not so much on the history, the formal history of the town, which surely the three brothers know a lot better than he does, but he's going to try and give you an impression of how your ancestors would have lived in this town. So before dinner tonight, he's going to show you the documents that demonstrated how all your family relations are connected. So some of the things we won't be able to see is the land, the pieces of land that belonged to the Cozza and Curcio family, which are mostly here below this point of town.
Cozza, Cozza, viva. Family.
Cozza!
Cozza.
Sanza!
It's on the wrist. Ah! Benissimo! Bravo!
Oh, stands up. Oh, no.
This is a great grandmother's Curcio's house.
Quando che c'era la guerra, mandavano tanta roba in Italia.
So she said, like in the year 1940, there were so many packages coming because they knew that the war here was already arriving, and in the States it wasn't yet. So, okay, so the letters were sent by normal mail, by letter mail.
Mandavano per posta.
Avete ancora le lettere che sono venute?
C'erano le lettere, c'erano tante cose di mio nonno che aveva mandato, che aveva portato dall'America, perché mio nonno è stato 14 anni in America e poi se n'è venuto in Italia, perché i genitori le avevano detto che le sue figlie erano fidanzate e non c'era possibilità per le sposare. E allora ha scritto a mio nonno dicendo che se poteva mandare qualcosa di soldi per sposare le sorelle a zia Maria e a zia Anna Felice.
So the story about the sisters is that he got a letter, her grandfather who moved to South America got a letter saying, your sisters have to get married, but we don't have enough money for the dowry. And so we need you to send money. And instead he came back. And basically they ended up sending the sisters abroad to the States instead.
Ho lasciato l'America dopo 14 anni.
14 years, Argentina, yeah.
Perché che se doveva sposare le sorelle.
So he couldn't stay there because he needed to come back to make sure his sisters got married well.
Mio nonno le voleva troppo bene le sorelle, le voleva troppo bene. Poi sentendo che in paese erano fidanzate con persone del stesso paese, allora mio nonno ha fatto tutto quello che poteva.
So he said she said the grandfather loved his sisters so much that he came back for them to make sure that their futures were secure.
I think my father, John Cozza, had to pay John to marry me.
Lei pensa che il suo papà ha dovuto pagare al papà di John, un altro Giovanni, per sposare lei. Sì.
Allora,
La doveva sistemare a lei. Sì, sì.
Te le guardi qualcosa, ma qualcosa di particolare.
In medicina? Quando non è più in medicina. Quando non è più in medicina.
poi la mia mamma stava male.
Her mama was not well.
Allora
at one
il
point.
dottore le disse a mio padre, gli disse, tieni qualche persona in America e ti manda questi medicinali perché in Italia non ce ne sono. Che allora si salva tua moglie, se non guarisce non si salva.
So,
E allora
posso tradurre un attimo, perché sennò mi perdo,
per
scusate,
carità.
scusate. So her mom was not well. At a certain point, the doctor came and he said, "Do you have anybody in the United States that could send you this type of medicine?" Because, and he said it to her dad, to contact whoever he could in the United States for medication, because that medication just did not exist in Italy. E allora hanno mandato?
Allora la zia Maria, che era in America, quando ha ricevuto quella telefonata che telefonava solo per il figlio di posta, allora subito ha mandato, in del giro di 48 ore sono arrivate in medicine dall'America.
So she says that her aunt Maria, the one that we don't know exactly where she ended up in the end, was really quick. She says within 48 hours the medication was here. I don't know how they managed that. Exactly. And she sent it immediately. And because they made a phone call, which was very rare. You didn't just make phone calls in those days. È funzionata la medicina? Sì, it worked. Nonna Rosa?
Bellino, capito?
Queste le facevo
So
quando
you all look like this at 92, guys. Both the girls and the boys. Just so know it. It's a zeppole. There's more coming. There's always more. So that's a... Fai prima loro.
I miei 3 figli, mia mamma, mio papà, mio suocero e mia suocera.
So she took care of 3 children, of her mother, of her father, and of both her parents-in-law as well.
Oh my!
She took care of all those people during her lifetime. Philip,
How long you lived here your whole life?
ha sempre vissuto qui dentro a questa casa?
Questa casa l'ha comprata mio padre.
Her father bought this house in 31.
L'ha comprata mio padre, che erano case antiche, gente antiche, perché ci sono l'archi, c'è il pozzo.
This is a very, very old house. It predates her father buying it by many, many, many years, centuries
okay,
even.
it's good.
Yeah.
Perché prima a Sanza non c'era acqua.
Because before there wasn't any running water in the houses.
I was going to ask that. I like history. You're in the 1920s. Can you tell me one story about one of your grandparents, happy or sad? One story.
C'è una storia particolare sui nonni che può condividere?
Ma i nonni, perché mio nonno è molto giovane.
Her grandfather died very young.
È morto di infarto. morto di infarto, è morto giovane.
Ah.
Papà mio, quando è morto,
E lei ha conosciuto il nonno?
no, la nonna sì.
Nonno sì?
La nonna sì, ma il nonno
She
no.
never
perché-
knew her grandfather because he died so young.
Okay.
Suo padre aveva 3 mesi quando è morto.
So her father was only 3 months old when his dad died. Her
That's sad.
grandfather.
That's a sad story.
How old were
Mio nonno,
when they got married? How old?
mio nonno è morto all'età di 50 anni. Con
He was only
infarto.
50. He was only 50 years old when he had a heart attack
Okay.
and died.
Giovane.
Yeah.
Mia nonna poi me la ricordo bene.
Her grandmother she remembers really well. Ha qualche ricordo in particolare sulla nonna?
Ah, parecchie cose.
Sì, era una signora, faceva le coccole, che faceva la nonna? Sì, she was a very, she loved giving hugs, the nonna.
Taught you many things. I bet she taught you many things.
Ha insegnato qualche cosa a lei, la nonna?
Tradition.
Parecchie cose mi insegnava, pure cose per cucinare.
Ah, to cook and how to do things in the house, yeah. When she got married, her father was 50.
But how old was she?
Ah, e lei a quanti anni è sposata?
23.
She was 23.
Okay, great. And your mother? How old was she?
Mia
E la
mamma,
mamma quando si sposò, quanti anni aveva? Era giovane?
papà tenia 23 anni quando è sposato, pure all'età mia. E poi la mamma era un po' prima,
Un po'
e
più
ne
giovane.
tenia 25.
Ah, so her mother was 2 years older than her dad. Her dad was 23 and her mom was 25 when they got married. I would love to come visit because my English is pretty good so we can talk, but it's a little bit expensive. Acqua qui.
Per portare l'acqua qua.
So,
Però
nel 31?
Mia nonna era entusiasmata perché c'era il pozzo e doveva comprare questa casa.
Ah, so her grandfather bought this house because it has its own well right there. And having a well in those days was super important because it means you had fresh water that was safe to drink, which was a luxury. And it took until 1931 for water to actually be brought to the town because at some point an engineer came to town and saw all the problems that they had because of the lack of fresh drinking water. And so he started a project to bring the water from the mountain into the town. Fresh water is one of the most important things for hygiene, for safety. And so this house was a real luxury in town to have your own well that was safe to drink. Grazie per questa storia.
Io mi vogliono tutti bene.
Ma sì, ma certo che guarda tutte queste facce belline che vogliono bene a lei, guarda, loro è la nuova generazione, hanno 30 anni più o meno, sono 3 sorelle e una cugina.
Come mia nipote.
Sì, esatto, dov'è stessa età, you're the same age group as, like, around 30-ish.
E poi
Wisdom, tutta sta gioventù qui a casa? All this youth in the house?
tengo 5 nipoti,
5.
4 uomini e una figlia.
She has 4 grandchildren, no, 5 nipoti. Ah, esatto. 4 boys and 1 girl she has.
Ce n'è uno che sta in Olanda.
There's one in Holland. Ireland, sorry. Misheard that.
Ha studiato e ha trovato lavoro.
He studied there and then he found a job there. He's in Dublin.
Ha detto sempre, pure poco sera fa che mi dio la cucina che 92 anni. Magari se fosse stato io a Sanza ti mi ha tanto piacere di conoscere pure i parenti.
Perché
io
he was really sorry that he couldn't come because he wanted to know his family from the States. But